Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Bayat Al Ghadeer channel. We pray that you're all in the best of health and iman, inshallah ta'ala. Today, we will be discussing this specific individual. Before I do so, if I could quickly just say Assalamu alaikum to all the brothers which are part of the team, which are here today. So we have Sayyid Ali, Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
We've got brother Daniel, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
We've got brother Ryan, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And Sayyid Raza, Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam, Sayyid.
So, this is a special dealing with this individual. Now, in terms of a background, I think it's important to understand who this individual is. I think he came onto the scene, onto the polemic scene, over a year ago. He became quite well known. He attended Hyde Park on a number of occasions, thought himself as some sort of champion anti-Shia debater, until he came across the Bayat Al Ghadeer team themselves. I wasn't there on that occasion, but he did run into, alhamdulillah, Sayyid Raza, and they had a discussion on the Tarif Quran, and we can leave it to our viewers to see who was successful in that discussion. Essentially, he tries to take on this sort of popularity to try and reach out to a wider audience, presenting himself as the vanguard for Sunni Islam. And by doing so, he's trying to incorporate and take on point a popularity from a wider spectrum. He was almost trying to present Sunnism as a broad church. So he was appealing to particularly a Salafi audience, a Deobandi audience, and you name it. As long as people hated Shias, he was achieving something. And that has really been the focus of Brother Hajji. So once he became popular at Hyde Park, he decided to establish his own channel. And what was he doing? He was basically, he'd invested in a large number of books, and he would read out a narration. He'd have a cameraman who would laugh like that cartoon character Muttley, as we'd pointed out previously. And hey ho, we have comedy about Shias to prove that they're apostates. It became known to a wider audience. His polemics got some sort of credibility. And step in the Salafi Sunni defense, and they suddenly recruit him as one of their foot soldiers. He became the poster boy for the Sunni defense team. So lo and behold, he started producing output for them, and he, so this increased his kind of popularity. And he's an individual that thrives on it. So he carried on producing more materials, more anti-Shia materials. And in fact, one of his videos, he said that his whole focus, because we shouldn't be singing Gingang Gudi around the fire with the Shias. So his actual objective is to actually create hatred between Sunni and Shia communities. And that's really his whole interest. He says, I'm presenting raw Shiism to the Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. That's his whole focus. So now this individual then invests in lots of books, and he presents a scan, and it's all comedy and fun, and he's not interested in the truthfulness of a narration or anything. He'll use abuse. He'll use abusive terminologies. As we know, in some of his videos, in one video, he referred to a cartoon cleric by the name of Kantas. This is how low this individual gets. So that's his akhlaq, and then he starts doing other stupid things. I mean, initially, he started also presenting members of the team as Hindus and having sort of thumbnails making fun of us. Such is his poor taste. But that's really up to where he was. The methods that he's used and what he's done to try and increase his viewing through these stupid thumbnails and popularity started to gain. Then we suddenly have a change, because certain members of the Bayat Al Ghadeer team came across this said individual at Hyde Park. And really it's interesting, because then the tone kind of changed. Sayyid Ali, over to you. If you could explain what happened at Hyde Park, what was agreed, and where we are now.
Assalamu alaikum to the viewers, and thank you for joining us, and assalamu alaikum to the brothers on the panel as well. The second time we met him up in the park, I spoke to him on the side. We had you could say a private discussion. I explained to him that, look, I wasn't happy about his behavior in terms of the thumbnails he was using. He put his hand up to it. He also accused us of being part of another YouTube channel where we were also using his thumbnails in mockery of him on that particular platform, which is not true at all. Our approach, those who know us, they know that this is not our methodology. We always keep things professional. We always maintain the best of akhlaq. And this is the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt al-Islam. Obviously, if you have role models like people like Muawiyah, individuals who used to curse and insult the commander of the faithful, Imam Ali al-Islam, it shouldn't surprise us that we have these particular individuals who carry the banner of Muawiyah today. But yeah, coming back to the point, I explained to him I wasn't happy about his general overall ethics and his conduct in terms of him using his thumbnails. He actually agreed with me in the park that at this point forward, he was not going to use these thumbnails mocking some of the members of the team, trying to portray us to being some sort of Hindus. Yet the irony is that, alhamdulillah, we, for example, me and brother like Sayyid Hassan Bukhari, we have heritage and we have ancestral grave marks going back over 500-600 years. So, when it comes to shirk, these are things which are far away from our ancestors. Our ancestors, never took up idols and worship them. Rather, these are the individuals who we're dealing with. If they actually go back, I'd say a few centuries, they'd probably find out that most of their ancestors were Zoroastrians or, Hindus, people dancing around fire or, making sculptures of idols and worshipping them. But the point is, anyway, I don't want to make this, I don't want to go into too much detail. We don't want to spend too much time. But yeah, from that point, this particular individual, he agreed that he was not going to do any more thumbnails. He didn't for several months. He basically breached that condition very recently. Sayyid Hassan Bukhari, what did he do exactly?
Obviously, I wasn't privy directly to the conversation, but the point that was agreed was no more pictures, because of any member of Bayat Al Ghadeer, like we wouldn't share his pictures on thumbnails. That was very, very clear. At one point, he did yours, and then in error, he said you pointed that out, and then he said, "Oh, I apologize, won't do it again." Now releasing the video, which has got an image of me. So you understand me? He says one thing and does something completely different, and this is the irony of it. Since he likes quoting our books, he needs to look at his own books. There's a narration, Sahih Bukhari, that one sign of a munafiq is that when he promises to do something, and he breaks it. So basically, Brother Haji, this behavior that you're doing is that of a munafiq, and it's proven by that narration. So look at yourself. This is the sort. Not only do you have bad conduct, which we had to point out. Honestly, guys, if you saw some of the sort of thumbnails, they were pathetic. Say that you have as well. I've got some relatives which are from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. My family in Indian occupied Kashmir, they're all Ahl Sunnah. They were appalled by some of those thumbnails. They're saying, what on earth is this? I've got friends that are Sunnis are saying, what is this? You've got someone, made a Hindu and a dog is licking his backside. What, is that good? See what I'm saying? This is the sort, but even when it's pointed out to him, he said, I'll improve myself. And yet, look what he's doing. He doesn't really change his behavior.
Sorry, Sayyid Hassan Bukhari. This is the type of Islam that they call people towards. This is their version of.
Yeah.
That's what.
Absolutely.
What you're seeing is a reflection of what they believe. That's what it comes down to, right?
Absolutely.
Vile, dirty, disgusting.
Exactly. Just poor ikhlas. So this is what Haji is. Okay, brothers, I'm going to open this up first to say that rather than talking about the programs that we've done, let's quickly focus on your thoughts on Brother Haji, and then I'll push it over to the other members of the team. Brother Raza, you first.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, thanks, Sayyid Hassan Bukhari for setting me out, introducing me. Yeah, man, I ain't been on a live with you lot for a little while. So yeah, man, like obviously I heard everything that you lot said. This individual, I don't know where to start with this guy, man. For me, this guy like finished himself when he put one of the Hindu gods on the shrine of one of our imams. Just pure disrespect, bro. Like just completely. There's nothing academic about his approach. Tried to reason with this guy. I spoke to him. I even spoke to him in the park, and he acted very sincere to me. And I actually thought this guy's genuinely made a mistake when he's going to stop this kind of behavior. Unfortunately, he seems to have like this type of split personality, where he's one thing to your face and then literally turns into another guy on camera. It's just like this split disorder that he has. I can't really that's the only thing, the best way I can explain it. So yeah, he's disrespected on numerous levels, and he's actually someone who's actually not interested in objective, sincere dialogue. And I've noticed that by your replies that you lot gave, there's no sincerity in actually accepting that you actually don't know Shia creed, you don't know the Shia faith, and you literally just want to quote narrations here, there, out. There's no consistency. And yeah, as in, just in my discussion with him, I've only had one discussion with him in my life. His level of knowledge on Shiism was kind of obvious in that discussion, when he thought certain books of munadhara or discussion were books of Aqidah. So as in his where he stands is kind of known. But yeah, I think you lot have given him enough time, to be honest. You lot had to reply to him just to show him that, look, there is a reply. But in terms of his akhlaq, the way he disrespects, and he actually wants sectarian, he actually wants to stroke sectarian hatred and potentially violence. That's the only thing I can see in him. I try and be very careful in my speech when I'm speaking to people, especially about religion and stuff. I'm very careful. I always try and make sure I'm objective. This person has no regard. He has no He doesn't feel like he has any responsibility. And I think this person is just someone that should be. He's following in the footsteps of other nawasib and people that are of similar nature and probably even worse. And I think these people kind of should be disregarded and ignored, especially after your refutation series.
Sorry to interject, brother. I mean, one thing I was going to point out, Sayyid, he himself said it on the Sunni Defense channel. He goes that we should not be, they're not the sort of people we should be singing Gingang Gudi around the fire with. So, his intention.
But hold on.
There should be nothing to do with Shia.
He says that, Sayyid, yeah, but then in my debate, he's telling me, your books, yeah, do you mind if I put it on the floor, brother? Is it okay if I put it on the floor? So what was that about then?
Yeah, I mean, this is just all of us.
You're showing so much respect to my books full of, as they like to say, kufr and shirk and this and that. But you're showing man respect to my book, saying, brother, do you mind if I put it on the floor? Like, is it all right? So you've got that type of respect and adab, and then you're saying that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like a split personality, bro. You're dealing with one guy off camera and another guy on camera, or one guy with you, another guy off when he's away from you. So like you said, like the statement that you quoted, it's like he wants to have some sort of hatred and violence, and like what he's about is really suspect. So people like that, alhamdulillah, you've given jawab to, you've given a reply. If he wants to go back to back, you can respond to him and go back to back, even though I highly doubt it, because to be honest, you'll have kind of obliterated him. But yeah, man, I think this person is not worth any more attention, to be honest. And khalas, finish that, man.
Okay. Go on, Ryan, bro. Give us your thoughts on Hajji. Give us a kind of your synopsis of what you think.
I don't have much to say about about Hajji, to be honest. At the end of the day, why are you laughing, Sayyid?
No, I said my bad. Carry on.
Sorry?
My bad. Carry on. My bad. Carry on.
No, look, at the end of the day, that entire squad, they've all got serious issues. Whether it's, I think with Hajji, he gets excited by all the attention that he's getting, so he starts forgetting his morals, if he has any, and he starts doing all this kind of stupid stuff. It's all attention seeking. He mustn't have been shown enough attention when he was a kid or something like this, and now he's just trying to get it from all these random people on the internet. And I know people that are like that from the Imami circles as well, but at the same time, it's not respectable behavior. And I think he should seriously check himself before he wrecks himself. And if he's going to be emulating people from Sunni Defense that are well known for being complete and utter scumbags, he should, back away from us, because it's just going to get worse for him, to be honest. So,
Brother Daniel, but what's your perception of Brother Hajji?
What I saw from this guy was basically just, it was pretty silly. Like Hassan Bukhari said in the introduction, he's trying to make a comedy show out of random hadiths that he finds in our books and giving them without any context and with the pre-assumption that the Salafi, Deobandi perspective on Aqidah is per se the correct approach. So what he does is everything that would be problematic from their point of view, he takes that without any context and then it makes it appear as something funny and ridiculous, without even trying to see what is the Shia position on this. And I think you brothers on many occasions did refute him on exactly these points where he did that without, as far as I know, him replying to any of your refutations. So I think the people really taking him honestly might be just as immature as he is, and that's pretty much where he gets his audience from. So these are people who are not interested into really having a dialogue or finding out about the truth, but just pepping up their boring lives with making some fun about something that they don't understand. And I never saw him making any point that would really prove anything that he's trying to imply for regarding polytheism or whatever he's accusing people of. But I didn't watch too much of the content. I saw a few of your shows and saw like typical Bayat Al Ghadeer style. It was very argumentative. It was neutral, objective, but I didn't see any of that coming from him ever, never. So I don't think he's really to be taken serious. The problem is that too many people take such people serious, and these are just as immature as he is, probably. I don't think that it's possible to have a real dialogue with people like that. It's the same like these random internet discussions you would have with strangers popping up in forums like, oh, you Rafida, you mushrik, I found this hadith, it's in a kafi, and then you explain it to them, bro, okay, do you know what this hadith means? Do you know what our aqidah is? Do you know how we interpret it? I don't want to hear this, all lies, taqiyya, you're basically Hindus. And they're gone, then they block you.
Jazakallah, Brother Daniel, for that contribution, which in truth was a perfect synopsis of everything that is Hajji to a T. Now, let's quickly, let's talk about what we did. So Brother Hajji came out and produced all these videos, and there were a lot of them. He was very prolific, releasing one every week. So we sat back and thought, okay, let's wait for him to have a bulk, and then we'll start doing the refutations. I assumed he was thinking we wouldn't do a thing. So what we did is we started doing just that. Thus far, we have had 14 videos. Very early on, Brother Hajji, I remember, talked about refuting us. And all he did is on our very first or second show, he started arguing on the issue of Arab linguistics about certain terminologies, which we responded to through Facebook, and he became very quiet. But the real issue at hand was the videos that he was doing in terms of his fitna and the approach he was taking. What did we do? We evidenced a number of points. The key point is he will pick up exactly as Brother Daniel said, whatever he can find, without looking at the context, without looking at the authenticity, and will just present it to an audience which don't know anything about Shiism, simply to create hatred towards them and create comedy at the same time. So our approach has been to look at every narration that he quotes, assess its authenticity, respond to it, and also give Brother Hajji a gift, because alhamdulillah, if he has points that he has umbrage with, we can pretty much evidence similar positions from his own books. For example, the Valaya series that we did. He has particular indigestion over the Valaya of Amir al-Mu'mineen and the other members of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. And he was trying to present that as alien to Sunni Islam, alien to Islam, obviously, because in his view we're not Muslims. And lo and behold, we start presenting evidences of his scholars who believed in the Valayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And a couple of shows in, we see him making a declaration on Facebook saying, oh, I've got no issue with Valaya. I just don't believe the Valaya that you guys. So basically, he suddenly starts altering the goalposts once he's refuted. One thing, he was trying to be very clever. He at one point he presented all of his shows, like a link for the shows he's done, and said, you've not refuted X, Y, Z. Let me be very clear. The approach that we have taken, we are dealing with stuff, not video by video like he's done. We're trying to deal it in terms of subject matter, so that our audience, I know he loves the scattergun approach, so he'll probably wake up in the morning, look at some anti-Shia material and link it up with what he's got and just present it as a new video. Our approach is very different. We felt that the best approach would be to look at things in terms of subject matter, so it's easier for our audience to understand it. So the Sunni audience, for example, might not understand what Valaya is. So we thought first we'll spend some shows explaining what Valaya is, And once we explain it from the Sunni and Shia perspective and from narrations from both sects, then we will, inshallah, go to address the issues that Haji had, the narrations that he quoted. So our approach has been to try and to have it in a method, in a certain way, so it's broken down chronologically, so that there's no doubt that the audience can see it and understand it. That's the way that we've done it. We're doing it, inshallah, future shows as well. He had a big issue about the Bayat Al Ghadeer. We will, inshallah, also deal with that. So it's in terms of subject matter, we bring it all together. 14 shows so far, very little from Haji. Well, let's be honest, really zero from Haji. We now notice that he's talking about, he's basically trying to divert, rather than addressing the issue at hand, responding to what we'd said, responding. You know, it would take a man to come forward and say, okay, I was wrong on this. But he's an arrogant individual. So he won't do that. Rather than do that, he'll go into diversion by just simply focusing on more anti-Shia materials. So he thinks we're playing catch up. Brother Haji, you're the one who's basically been caught out. And at one point he said he's going to address us. Then he comes around and says, I don't actually look at any of your content. You know, he makes these declarations on Facebook. That's not very honest approach. What sort of polemics is this? You will throw whatever dirt you can at us, but ignore our responses. Oh, people tell me what you're saying. Come on. That shows the lack of academia on your part. Your interest isn't that. Your interest, obviously, the modus operandi that you work on is sectarian hatred. You want it as much as you can. You remember the poor Sunni brother that has joined us, who approached us to do this series. He has been vilified by Brother Haji. He cannot understand how a Sunni who loves Amir al-Mu'mineen who believes in the Walaa of Amir al-Mu'mineen has joined us and is working with us to address these issues. Can you believe it? This is what Brother Haji has indigestion over, that Sunnis and Shias can actually sit together and have dialogue and respect, you know, and that they can understand one another. He cannot accept that. And that's something he's so desperate to create a wedge between Sunnis and Shias. Sayyid Ali, because you have been part of the team, me, you, and Brother Abu Hassan, I think only you can really respond to this aspect. Let's quickly talk about the shows we've done thus far, like I've done. Do you want to elaborate on anything else?
Sure. I mean, I'm just going to say really quickly, because the brothers have had a lot of patience so far. I don't think they have much patience for this individual. And to be fair, I totally understand that. We had a lot of brothers who were first insisting that we respond back to him. And when we did, when we buried him so deep in responses, and responding back to him, they have actually, you know, now contacting us and saying, listen, don't continue with this individual. It's clear that he has no intention to respond back to you. He just wants to hide behind other people. And this is the reason why apparently now he's bringing up subjection that we should start responding back to other people's content. Just gives you an idea that, you know, he's not a just person. And the Holy Quran mentions that, look, be just, even if it's against yourself. And unfortunately, he's not a just person. And there's going to be a point where we will probably stop responding, because, to be honest with you, he's wasting our time. You know, there's so many other projects on standby at the moment, which we need to resume at some point. Like, for example, our Dala series, our topics related around Tawheed. And we've got so many other content which is yet to be released yet. With this series, we're going to continue on for a bit, and we're just going to call it a day, to be fair, because, you know, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, you see, Said, you know what it is? Just one thing. This is why it's a double-edged sword, innit, you lot? Because if you don't respond, oh, this guy's causing this, reply to this guy, reply. If you do reply, at the end of it, you feel like, bro, what did I really, like, was this guy even worth it in the first place? So it's always like this problem with these kind of people, because they're not sincere. So when you do reply to them, it's like, what happens now? Do you get it?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's something that we've got a lot of unsung heroes. I want to stress one point. You know, brothers, you will understand this, you'll appreciate this. It takes a long time to address each show.
Exactly, man.
I want brothers, all of you viewers need to understand, and maximum respect to Brother Sayyid Ali, and we've got other brothers which do the research. I've got some of my own Sunni relatives that have given me scans to do research as well to help us. You know, it can take up to 9 or 10 hours to do preparation for these shows, okay? So one show will typically take, I know, say that you do all the compilation, we've got all the research put together, That could
Yeah, it could take. I agree with you. It takes literally. You could say it could take up to days, even weeks.
Exactly. But certainly, I remember one of the shows, I remember at one point we were talking, you said, brother, just this section has taken me total of 9 hours. You understand? It's a hell of a lot of work. And, Brother Haji keeps showing off that, oh, I'm a lone army, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes he says he's got a team. Whatever it is, there's nothing special. You just pick up a book and read it and put it down. Then you throw the onus on us to reply. So for us, our replies are to look at the matter, to address its authenticity, and then to give you a little gift. So to do that, we have to look at your text. So it involves a lot of research. So really, maximum respect to all those unsung heroes, which are in the background. So obviously, we're at the front, presenting, but they're really, really assisting us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the brothers, which are assisting in the background, providing us the research, providing us some of the translation. Inshallah ta'ala, we will continue. But I really want to sort of put a shout out to them. Maximum respect. Brother Daniel, do you wish to add anything else?
Yeah, just one thing that came to my mind when you said, like, first of all, you're absolutely right. Like, much respect beyond any measure for everybody who is working on this channel in the background, and it's a whole lot of work to put in to make a serious, objective show on a certain topic. And one strategy which trolls, and I think this is the most adequate expression for people like him, he's trolling with random stuff he's picking out, maybe out of books, maybe out of the internet, maybe somebody told him that, and he's throwing one accusation after another. And this is just, like I said before, like similar to people going to the internet and going to some groups or whatever and starting 10 topics at the same time, and it's not even possible to reply all the points given. And what they gain from this is that it will always look like, oh, the other side is not able to respond. But you cannot go into all these topics they open up. So this is the first sign that these people are not interested in a dialogue, because they open more topics than could be ever handled in a objective and scientific way. So that's the main indicator that they don't even want that.
So that's enough of Brother Haji. Now I want to move on a little bit, because whilst we've been busy dealing with Mr. Naim Safar, brother, let's talk about future projects. There's a lot of people ask us, is this it? Have we got more in the tank? And of course we have more in the tank. And the driver of this particular motor vehicle with a fully charged tank will be Sayyid Raza. Sayyid Raza, tell the audience about what you got planned for the future, please. And if the brothers, Brother Daniel or Brother Ryan are going to be involved, do sort of let us know what you got planned.
Yeah, man. Just a quick shout out for people that don't know. Just recently, I done a little reply to Dow Man. So it was 2 shows I done addressing some of his lies and misrepresentation and the same emotional arguments. Yeah, so watch that out on Bayat Al Ghadeer, man. I've done 2 responses to him. Inshallah, that should finish that situation up. Going forward, I don't want to give away too much, but inshallah, like, I want to focus on people to an extent that actually matter. Like, with all due respect, people are, names after or whatever, they need an answer at times. But I do want to actually respond to people that are actually known and have actually been spreading a lot of hate about the Shia community or lies and misrepresentation. That would actually have an impact to say that, look, there will be a response anytime you misattribute or lie about us. So I'm not going to mention the people's names or this and that, but I would say look out for this. And also, before I deal with any shows or any refutations, I would probably be dealing with the aspect of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and Muharram. So I haven't been able to, because I've had a couple of things going on, but I'm still going to be addressing that first in regards to a little bit about Muharram and Imam Hussain and a couple of the detailed analysis that we hear year on year as soon as Muharram starts, the disrespect and the ridicule that we get from majority Sunni community about Imam Hussain and especially Muharram. I think it's very important to actually discuss this and find out who actually is behind what happened in Karbala and where do these roots go up to. So inshallah, I'll be dealing with that. And then after that, I'll be refuting more people like Dawah Man, inshallah.
Excellent, excellent. Brother Ryan, I know you did that excellent series during Ramadan. Have you got any sort of specific plans? You want to do anything else on the channel along that line? Are you going to have some more output?
I think we still have a series to finish.
Yeah, it's a cookery one.
It's a what one?
A cookery.
Yeah. I'm going to be showing everyone how to cook lizard, and then
Lizard
and
cookbook.
and then lizard casserole, and then no, I think we still have to cook awia.
Oh yeah. That's always important.
You're right. Well,
Another
literally,
lizard.
because you're right, literally, because that's what the tradition says. He's from the people of Hellfire. But yeah, as I said before, and I'm going to quickly pass back to Sayyid Hassan in a minute. But yeah, you're right, Ryan. It was the continuation on the Mawiya series, and as Brother Reza rightly said, to be honest with you, there's far more important people to deal with, and you know, he's right by saying occasionally these type of people are required to be given a response, and we've done that. But yeah, there's loads of content that will be coming out on the channel. So Razal's going to be working on a few things. Brother Ryan's going to be starting up his cookery show, and Brother Daniel will be doing more hangouts, inshallah. So yeah, there's loads coming out soon. Just watch this space, and that's about it, really, Hassan Bari. I don't know if you want to.
That's about it, really. Thank you very much. Obviously, we unlike certain individuals, we don't ask for donations, that sort of crowdfunding. Alhamdulillah, we are self-funding. We do all that we can. All that we ask from our dear viewers is to remember us in your du'as, as we shall remember you. And that's about it.
That's it.
That's about it for this evening.